As many people know, I am a huge Pokemon fan. Heck, I have like cards. Honestly, I even jokingly show a lot of times of the cards I have. I even have cards literally just right here, just being literally hanging up here. I need to walk back. And of course, I've been a Pokemon fan with the games as well. However, the cards holds a special meaning to me to the point where I actually hang them on my wall is because the Pokemon card game is actually where I truly got into Pokemon. And while the Pokemon card game has definitely changed in many ways, today's video, I'll finally talk about how to actually play Pokemon. Because while it is a little bit weird with some of its rulings, it is pretty much one of the most easiest card games to get into, and it's definitely very well written. Now, before we get started, two notes. I will be using this deck, which is kind of outdated, not because of what it is, but actually this card thing came from that special one. You can even read it and see yourself. So it came from that specialty. And second of all, more importantly, I will not be covering all the update like the V decks or whatever, or the Mega Evolutions. I won't probably never do a video of that, but if you want to look it up, go look it up yourself. I only say that because I'm just going to base the original, but I am going to use two decks because in order to explain what's going on. Okay, so, and by the way, this is an extra card. I'll kind of make sense of it later. But here is the way the field should look. Notice that there are 6 cards right there and a full deck. There's a discard pile and an active spot in bench. So let me explain how this works. And yes, there's the rules right here. Just quick memo. And how this works is each player draws at least, I think it was 7 cards, but for the sake of relevancy, since every card game involves 7 cards, we're just going to do that. And the way it starts is you first flip a coin. I'll just grab it right here if I can. I'll explain a bit what that is, and whatever you go first, depending on heads or tails or even or odd. And then you look at your cards, and what you do first before even doing that is you look at your cards. And luckily, I got a good card here. So what you do is you look at your cards, and then what you do before the battle is place the cards. Hold on, this is going to be tricky because they're all in thing. You place the cards. First, you place what will be your active Pokemon right here. And of course, you place any number of Pokemon on the bench. All Pokemon put here must start as a basic Pokemon. Side note here. And honestly, you already figured that out. And basically, you do that because if you don't have any Pokemon on your bench, you might be in very big trouble. Now, I forgot if the person will able to win if they lose all their Pokemon off their bench, but I do know that this bench is important, and you need to at least have up to 2 Pokemon, an active Pokemon and a thing, and it gotta be face down until the battle truly begins, so that way you can see this and that. So before we truly begin, and actually hold on for a bit, let's see, that's good. Nope. What the? There we go. And I'll just use this as utter reference, but this is more of the recent later cards, but you can see totally the same, but whatever. Anyways, let's talk about what you're seeing right here, also right there, but difference. And let's talk about, what is which. First off is this thing, which is the elements. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 elements in the card game. Even though in actuality, the freaking Pokemon game has literally 18 types or elements. Now, of course, each element goes, normal type, grass, fire, water, electric, psychic, fighting, dark, metal or steel, fairy, and dragon, but you really don't need to really care about what kind of thing typing kind of thing is, even though if you do want to make a deck based around that, that's fine. I'm just pointing that out because every different card has typing. Except for Fairy, because update, they removed it for some odd reason. Anyways, the reason why these symbols are important is not only it will tell you what type of Pokemon it is, it also tells you their weakness, resistance, retreat cost, and this. So, pretty much make it easy notes. These two are attacks, and they give you, you just do what the attack says underneath if you want to, which I think you have to. And, there's the points that hits your health points, or hit points as people normally call it. But I'm going to call it health points because I want to. Anyways, this is a basic, which it will say on there whether it's basic or not. I'll explain. And of course, it talks about weakness, resistant, or retreat costs. Weakness is what the Pokemon is weak to, and it doesn't matter what move it is. If it's the Pokemon typing matching, it will do. Then, of course, the resistant is the same thing, just, negative that of the damage. Then the retreat cost is what energy comes into play. And this is just text of what the card is, blah, blah, blah. Also, this is just the text of the card, and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, the recent update cards look like this. There's also something called ability, which, again, it's a thing you do. You can also do it during your turn with an attack. That is actually true, I think. And you can see also the Evolution. There are at least two Evolutions, and technically 3 Evolution cards, like Pokemon. And you've only evolved, let me double check here, as many as you want. That's what the ruling says there. So what do you do now, exactly? Well, what you do, and this goes to the part of me explaining, you can also play energy, though you can only do once per turn, and attack it. Now, obviously, I'm going to attach it to Electabuzz, and you might be wondering, that's crazy, Floxcat, but that's actually not, that's the thing. Well, yes, if you do want to truly activate the card attack, you do need a electric type energy, but the star one is random. It could be any energy you want. In fact, that's kind of also where those special energy comes in, and we'll talk about that way later. But this energy provided can be any energy you want. So it doesn't matter if you put a freaking dark type to this thing, you can still use that energy. Switching up for a bit, let's talk about battles. Now, as already stated, and we're not going to do the whole energy bullshit thing. As for battles, here's how battles usually works. Usually, when it's time to battle, you call out your Pokemon and do an attack. And as always, just follow directions underneath this. For example, I use for sake of referencing, we're going to use bind first, and I'm not going to do the whole roll thing yet. And of course, the attack still goes either way, and it gives you damage, which is counted here. And now I gotta explain these little dice and this big dice. Okay, in actuality, the usual marks there will have like the damage you can put like 10s, 50, but I uniquely just grab a dice thing instead because it's more clear. But yeah, those points represent damage, and there's obviously damage chips you can put on here. Now this big dice is the coin dice. And again, you don't actually need it. Hell, you don't even need to get the dice part or even the whole damage part. You just gotta remember, I guess. But heavily recommended anyways. But anyways, back to the point. You do damage to this, and your turn ends. And the next player's turn, blah, blah, they do stuff, which we'll talk about later. And they do Fire Striker, which already kills the Pokemon either way. And, it says discard 2 Fire Energy, of course. Or, energy. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is the fact that this will be 380 attack points. And I say that because this will be multiplied by 2. Again, yes, this will KO the thing no matter what, of course, because that thing is super powerful. But it will be instead 380 80 because of the multiplication. And that is kind of also what's need to be in count, because if you're facing an opponent, then it might be trouble. That's why Electabuzz might be the more better option here, because, that. Alright, so next thing we need to talk about real quick is, of course, what do you call it? Conditions. Now, there's technically a lot of them. I forgot the numbering, but each condition is very unique. There's first Paralyze, which, hold on, I gotta actually read it for a bit. Basically, it's just a stall thing, meaning that when you're paralyzed, you turn to this card, and yes, you gotta turn it to it, and then after your own next turn, and that you can turn it back to it, and you can't retreat, you can't attack with it, you can't do nothing. Next up is Sleep, which is similar. However, you have to actually flip the coin for heads or tail. And by the way, I forgot to mention, heads is, of course, the even numbers. Tails is the odd number. So either way you roll. Okay, you didn't do it that time. Okay, there we go. And then it recover. By the way, I noticed that the book says something about Pokemon checkup. I think that's just the beginning of your turn or whatever. But whatever, that's how it usually goes with that. Confusion is definitely weird, as instead you turn it all the way upside down. And what you do is you flip a coin, and if it gets the tails, you take damage and you don't attack. And it's like 30-something damage or something like that. I just skimmed through the book. But yeah, that's how it works. And if it's heads, you do still command your attack. And I see that there's probably not a way to, get rid of that condition. The final two are pretty much interesting, as they both have their own thing. And this one probably is needed, but if you remember, then you don't really need it. And pretty much they're the same, with the section being that one is more bigger with damage than the other. Like if you poison someone, you just get 1 damage counter. Now, obviously, side note, for the sake of brevity, I don't think it's just like roll a dice and blah blah blah. I think it's just 1 damage, 10 damage. And as for this one, you just put it like here, and you say, okay, it's burning. Now you put fucking 2 damages. By the way, I know I'm just now realize I have these condition cards. I couldn't even get the book. But yeah, pretty much. And yeah, these are the major conditions that will happen to your Pokemon. And as you can see from Thunder Shock, it will happen through Pokemon's attack, of course. Finally, we'll talk about the major things, being the trainer cards. And yes, I'm kind of putting the special energy here, of course, with the trainer cards, but I'm just including it considering that how many has gone. Now, usually back before all this happened, trainer cards really was just under one title of trainer, but now they have separated into technically 3 groups, but there's even like 2 other groups as well, so they're technically now in 5 groups. And what they do is you can play any as you want, except that there are limit, and you see them on the bottom, and each one is very unique. The first one is pretty simple, as it's the item card, and it's usually just contained. It's not really also really an item as well, jokingly speaking, because sometimes it's not really an item like Pokemon Switch or something, because it doesn't even look like a Switch. It looks like a trade and stuff. And basically, it says you can play any number of item cards during your turn. Basically, the best way to describe it, to be honest, it's kind of like the spell cards from Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh!, there's only 2 from it. It's not like a quick spell card thing. You actually have to play it on your turn. And, it got multiple things for you. Like this one says, search your deck to evolve Pokemon, and, blah, blah, blah. Here, you can read it. Yep, there you go. Now you can read it. And, all that. Our next card is pretty straightforward. It is the supporter card, and this one just say draw free. Of course, there's probably more text, but unlike the item cards, you can only play 1 supporter card for your turn. So yeah, pretty much simple. Like some of them will have more better effects, which hints explaining why. And you can obviously tell because it always have a human. For example, Hop is here, and he took the role of Timothy with the free cards thing. Our next one is kind of hilarious because it's literally called the Stadium card, aka also ripping off Yu-Gi-Oh! And I say that jokingly speaking because this is basically also a field spell card. Like it literally just plays like the rules. Like it's even state this card, this stadium stays in play when you play it. Discard it if another stadium card comes into play. If a stadium with the same name is in play, you cannot play that card. Literally, it's literally just like Yu-Gi-Oh! With the only difference, as you may know, is from the area. There's no area for stadium cards, like field spell cards that are there. But that's all because they don't have it with this and all that. But yeah, that's literally it. It really is in a nutshell. And of course, just like even the freaking field spell cards, you can tell it is because, well, it's literally the area. And of course, the green border, of course, but still. Which even makes it even more worse because it's the exact same greenish coloring of the freaking spell card. I don't know how they. I'm surprised Konami hasn't sued Game Freak because of that. That's literally funny. Our next one is still the items ones, but this one is it's not its own some it's not it's unique items to be honest. Also, yes, this one I had to literally grab it from my box right here, so I'm just saying. Anyways, this is known as a Pokemon tool, and basically also pretty much the equipped spell card with Yu-Gi-Oh. However, not in the way you think. Now, in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't have Yu-Gi-Oh cards to show this off, so I'll just pretend this is Yu-Gi-Oh. Usually, Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll have it like this, where the item right here is there, and apparently you can't actually attach it. But in Pokemon, you actually do attach it along with your, energies. And yes, if you ever wonder why, if you see me play Yu-Gi-Oh, I accidentally do that, where I attach the equipment spell card to that, you can blame Pokemon for it. But, yeah, and it is go on there. It'll be attached it, and you also can't attach it to with Pokemon that already have a tool card on them, and it's very interesting to say the least. The final one isn't even named trainer, but it's the energy card, and there usually are special energy cards. Usually they remember when I said that this symbol is the random symbol because yeah, this is the random symbol like hell, and there's different types of special energies, and usually it'll just tell you what this energy provides and blah blah blah. It doesn't provide this; it just normally provides the normal type. Hence why the normal type is such random. Heck, even then there was even a card known as the rainbow double rainbow energy and triple rainbow energy, which I do have that does that. Anyways, it will have a special note that you can play every time something happens. Now there are some that are easy with this, others don't have it, like the Team Plasma energy, but that only plays along with the Team Plasma cards. And I know I'm getting into way ahead, but you have the effect that you can activate this effect once per turn, or how the effect says it does. Okay, with that all being said, though, how do you win? Because a lot of people might be wondering that. And sorry, I'm moving this guy. There we go. How do you win? Well, actually, there's literally two ways to win. Well, actually, three, and well, kind of it depends on how you see it. The first way to win is stalling, where you have literally got to drain all the deck to the discard pile or GY, whatever you want to call it. Yu-Gi-Oh joke. Anyways, second of all, and more importantly, the more actual way to win is kind of interesting. Now, in most card games, you usually take damage. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have life points, and I guess Magic of Gathering has its own thing as well. However, in Pokemon, it's actually different. So, in Pokemon games, many normal avatar, us usually are limited to 6 Pokemon. Well, that is the point. If you knocked out 6 Pokemon, you get one. you get all these prize cards. And the object of the game is to get these prize cards out of your thing. And it's kind of like a bonus card if you do. And usually it's random. Oh, by the way, I know this says 2 prize cards and stuff, and that is true. Like, there's actually multiple cards now, and not just this card series. Hold on, I gotta actually grab it like that. That has that thing right there. I don't think you can see. You can't. I'll just put it right there. Can you see? Try my hardest. You probably can't see that. There we go. You can see that. It says 2 cards. Blah blah blah. But yeah, that's how it usually goes out. And for the most part, yeah, that is basically it. So, long story short, you have to beat your Pokemon, get the prize cards, or run out of deck. Pretty much that's how it goes. And to make a long story short, there are other things I gotta say because, like I showcased while back, there's different typings. I even hang it up my wall, but that is the major way to do it. That's how you play the Pokemon game. You literally just grab these cards and da da da. And it's easy. Like as I kind of already pointed out, this thing will always bring a guide for you if you get a starter deck. So my best guess, if you really want to start, just get a starter deck and start building it up. Pretty much like Yu-Gi-Oh will just tell you how to do it. And honestly, I will link a more better video to explain that because I know my explanation was crap. But I wanted to do this because, as you can tell, it really means a lot of the series. Like I literally have like a fucking book of just Pokemon cards. About several books. I even made a video showing this off. But and there's always gonna be some other stuff towards it. But yeah, that's just the major thing. Anyways, this has been Floxcat. I hope this video was informative. Bet not, because I was very sloppy with this video. Snapping out of here. Bye bye.